Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hello and welcome to Sunday edition of Morning Tailgate. I'm the host, Big B. I'm joined by, well, hopefully Mess Around, but we all know how Mess Around is. He's just like the Bears. They're late, but joining me is my sidekick, Crispy Bacon. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Preseason's almost over.
Yeah, almost over. And then down below us, wearing the Milwaukee Bucks hat, I believe that is Tim Hendricks. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Glad to be here. Like Crispy said, glad the preseason's almost over.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 weeks in for most of our teams. Chris, how's those
Yeah,
Cowboys looking, or what have you taken away from the Cowboys so far?
we actually looked good last night. Turbin got some playing time. He got two kick returns, a punt and a kickoff return. Uh, we had another starting quarterback. I can't remember his name. Greer, I think his last name was. He looked pretty good, battling for backup for Dak. Um, a lot of players look good. Defense looked good. So, but I'm not taking anything, from that really.
Yeah, exactly. Tim, I know the Colts took a beating last night, but how they look in your eyes?
I think hopefully we get it together. Our special team looks terrible. I don't understand how our kick returns are just absolutely atrocious. We got a good quarterback. We got a good backup quarterback, maybe making Nick, which would be nice. Ellinger's starting to prove out that he's a might be say this maybe a little like a mini Andrew Luck, so that's possible. The second teams are looking better. The third teams look kind of trash. That's okay. That the preseason's
Yeah, for here in Minnesota, we're 0-2, lost last night to the Niners. Right now, by looking at the stats, it doesn't look like much is going on. But yet again, the starters I don't think have played that much. So you
Nope.
know, yeah, I just can't wait for week one to roll around. A lot of people are getting tuned for fantasy football too, and just can't wait to get that kickoff going. So
Yeah.
this week, we're going to talk about the 9 new coaches we have, and
Yep.
then some players, old players and new plays, old faces and new places. So we'll start with the coaches. I see one, two, three, four, five of the 9 new coaches are brand new coaches,
Yeah.
and then if you do your math right, then 4 coaches have been there before. So I will start with Lovey Smith with the Houston Texans. Tim, he coached the Bears and the Bucks. What do you think he could bring to the Texans, if anything?
he's gonna bring a defensive mind. He's I believe the coordinator last year. Since I think he's going to be um, definitely a good fit in Houston because he's already been there. He's going to bring a lot of experience, especially being in the Super Bowl back in 2000. I want to say 2007. So he
Yeah.
has experience, and I think they really circle the wagons around Lovey. He's a darn good coach. I'm glad he got a third chance.
Yeah, Chris, how about you? What do you think Lovey could bring to the Texans?
I like Lovie Smith when he was with the Bears. I mean, he led them to a Super Bowl. He is a defensive kind of coach, but I think he's going to bring a football mentality to Houston. I think you're going to see a culture change probably in Houston. It's not going to show right away. I don't think players have to buy into it, but I think he's gonna do Houston some good.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's gonna bring, definitely that defensive mind, some culture change. He's gonna probably do a lot of old school stuff. So we'll see there. His records with the Bears was 81-63, and then with the Bucks a few years ago was 8-24. So I think he'll definitely bring some changes, but like Chris said, I don't think much is gonna. We're not gonna see it for a few years once he gets in there settled. The second coach that's getting another chance is Dennis Allen of the Saints. He's been with the Saints for a while. He was a coach of the Raiders, 8-28. His first turnaround. So, Chris, what do you think Allen's going to bring to the Saints? Which I believe he was the defensive coordinator there. I could be wrong though.
I mean, the good thing is you kept a guy on your staff. You're just changing positions with him. So there's a little continuity there. You can't really go off of his coaching record when he was in with the Raiders. I mean, they're already pretty bad then, but I think it's a good start for him, or a refresh.
Okay, Tim, what do you think Allen could bring to the Saints?
Crispy again, I think said it perfectly. Bring continuity. I don't think there was that many. I don't think he changed over that many coaches after he became the head coach. So I think you don't really lose a lot on the coaching style on the coaching staff. You pretty much keep the same style. So you're not changing styles. You're keeping everything that was in the Saints organization coaching wise. So basically, you just basically it was neck and up at this point.
And I'm sure Sean Payton is not. I know he's not on the staff, but I'm sure Dennis Allen's giving him coaching advice, or Sean Payton's giving him coaching advice too.
Oh, I bet you Peyton's probably. I mean, Peyton. I think we said it.
Basically his team.
Yeah, I think last week we said it too that Peyton was like the heart and soul of that team, and we don't say that to many coaches, but Allen's definitely got some shoes to fill. Hopefully, he can get that quarterback situation under control, and you bring somebody in there who already knows the team, is a good thing. So, and then we got Josh McDaniels going to the LA or Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry, he was in Denver prior. Was 11-17. So, Tim, what do you think McDaniels could do?
Well, we know my thoughts on Josh McDaniels and what he did for the Colts. Other than that, I think he brings a winning pedigree coming in from New England under Belichick. So he's going to learn a lot of stuff that he had when he was with the Denver Broncos back in the day. I think this is going to be. I think he's going to show a lot more. And he's got a pretty much a made team in Las Vegas because that was a playoff team last year. We're just basically rebuilding on a playoff team from last year. So this team to be, and it's also a tough division. So it's going to be a good team.
All right, Chris, what do you think of Josh McDaniels in LA or Las Vegas? I'm sorry.
Kind of like Allen. I mean, he did good in Denver. He had Tim Tebow, but that was only one season, in Denver. So not a lot of coaching history, but he did spend a lot of time with Belichick. So he should have a lot of coaching knowledge there. It's going to be interesting to see what he does in his second cycle of coaching.
Yeah, exactly. And, I definitely think he's got a pretty decent team. He got Adams over the offseason. He's got a quarterback that could do something, but, we'll see what they could do. Like Tim said, that division is going to be tough. So the last guy, and I left him last on purpose because I think we're going to have some things to say. Doug Peterson going to be coaching Jacksonville. Second stint around. First stint was with the Eagles, 42-37-1, and one Super Bowl win. So, Chris, what do you think about Peterson in Jacksonville?
Yeah, like Lovey Smith, he's a veteran coach, got a Super Bowl under his belt. Oh, even though Lovey Smith lost that Super Bowl, Peterson won his. But either way, going to the Super Bowl, you gain experience. I think Peterson's going to bring a hard nosed mentality, kind of like Lovey Smith will. So I think it's going to be good for Jacksonville. Uh, their quarterback's going to learn under somebody that knows the game really well.
Okay, Tim. Doug Peterson going to Jacksonville. What do you think that brings?
I think it brings a winning mentality, like Crispy said. He's got a Super Bowl under his belt. I think it changes the mentality, especially after last year with the failed experiment of Urban Meyer. I think he brings the right mentality to an offense and to that defense. The offense is going to look great. Is going to look good before I say great. But much like Lovey Smith, you're not going to see a lot of the changes that are really going to show up year 2, year 3, maybe year 4. But he's got the right mentality. He's always had the right mentality. He's got the backup quarterback mentality. So he knows what it's like to have to sit and wait his turn. So he's going to do fine.
Yeah, I think. I really think Eagles gave them the short end of the stick. After the Super Bowl run. But Peterson being that quarterback offensive mind, I think that'll help out Lawrence. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna see improvements every year, but I think it's gonna be year 3, year 4, 5 when we see a very big impact, unless they happen to get some superstars or if it all clicks for them right away. So, um, of the 4 coaches we just named, uh, do we see any playoff bound teams, Chris? Of the 4 coaches we just named, do we got a playoff team in here?
The only one I could think of is McDaniels, only because he was
Okay.
with New England.
Okay. Tim, how about you? If you had to pick a playoff team out of these 4 new coaches, who do you got?
I'd have to go with John McDaniel because that was a playoff team last year, and all they did was reload. That's just
Yep.
it's just scary. So there's got to be McDaniel and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep. I agree. Looking at that, I think McDaniels with the Raiders, I think will be a playoff team. So let's get to the other 5 coaches, all first timers. We'll start with Mike McDaniel in Miami. So Tim, what do you think of that guy there?
I'll be honest, I don't know much about Mike McDaniel, but that doesn't mean anything. I can't remember where he came from. He came from give me a second. Uh,
Was he part of the?
San Francisco. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that explains a lot. I don't know. It's if we're basing it off of another person, Miami should be going to the Super Bowl. If not, I don't know. I think this is a middle of the road team. Start with as an offensive coordinator. I don't know. It's a questionable. It's a questionable hire to begin with because you look at the offense. Yeah, granted, San Francisco went to the playoffs last year and beat Green Bay. Again, San Francisco was a crapshoot from week to week. So that could be Shanahan, that could be McDaniel, or it could be McDaniel. You never know. He's got weapons. That I can say. They're a middle of the road team. That you're not going to see anything major out of that team again for maybe four years starting. So
Okay. Crispy, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure much on On him, I mean, yeah, he went. He was in San Francisco, but it, the whole Dolphin situation with their coach. You know, I'm not going into it, but just firing him, letting him go. Uh, that was kind of a questionable move, but we're not in the front office and all that, so I think it's going to be a rebuilding couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think McDaniel. I think kind of shocked us all that he got the job in Miami. I think there's a lot of other candidates that everybody was going for, and I think he was the long shot. But he's got a team. You know, he comes from San Francisco, winning organization. In past years, this last couple years, they kind of been fluctuating, but you know, we'll see what they do. We all know that the Niners kind of lost a few people this year in that coaching regime and GM, so we'll see how they do. But yeah, I think again we're looking at a few years down the road. So the next coach we're going to talk about is Nathaniel Hackett. He went
Okay.
to the Denver Broncos. Previous, he was with the Packers last year as offense coordinator, Jacksonville Jaguars offense coordinator from 16 to 18, and the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback coach 2015 2016. So, Chris,
Yeah.
Hatchet in Denver. What do you think?
What was he before that? Like offensive
Yeah,
coordinator?
he was offensive coordinator for the Packers and Jags.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, playing, coaching again or coaching with Rodgers, he kind of, or that could be all Rodgers. I don't know, but he's a good coach. I think he's going to lead this team to some wins. I think they're going to have a little improvement, but I'm not going to see him. I don't think you're going to see him in the playoffs, but you're going to see a little improvement from Denver, and I think it's going to be a fresh of breath air. I think it's a breath of fresh air. It's early.
Yeah, Tim, how about you? Hackett in
Like
Denver.
I think it's a good situation for Nathaniel Hackett. I think everybody was expecting Aaron Rodgers to go with him, but he has Russell Wilson, so he's got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's got a quarterback that knows what to do. He's in the AFC West, so it's going to be difficult, but he's also got weapons. It seemed like everybody in the West got weapons. But I think he knows how to coach in this league. Even if he was just the offensive coordinator, I think coach. He's going to pay dividends. I think he may pay dividends a little earlier than everybody else. I think you may see it in year two. You got to look at it. The last two offensive coordinators that Green Bay, two of the last three offensive coordinators that Green Bay had have been to the Super Bowl. You have Nathaniel Hackett who's been to the Super Bowl, and then you have to remember that Doug Peterson was also the offensive coordinator in Green Bay, and he's been to the Super Bowl. So
Yep.
it's either Aaron Rodgers or so they know what to do. So I think Daniel Hackett has probably one of the better starting head coaching jobs in the league right now.
Ooh. No, I like that take on he definitely goes from A Rod to Wilson. Doesn't hurt. So we'll definitely see who was the mastermind behind that offense. But like Tim said, Peterson came from the Packers. Hackett comes from the Packers. So we'll see what's going on. So our other friend Tim Fielder Sarge is chiming in. Wilson only won because of their defense. Yeah, I mean,
At the
I can kind of
beginning,
see
yeah,
where.
Legion of Boom, but yeah. But
Yeah, I can see the defense was strong, but that offense was pretty good too. So can't take nothing away from them.
when the Legion of Boom broke up, I think you saw Wilson doing a
Try to
little
do
too
more.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So next quarterback or coach we're going to talk about is Brian Dabble, the ball. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, but he's going to the Giants. Previous was the Bills offensive coordinator. Then he was in Alabama for their offensive coordinator quarterback. And then New England for a little bit as tight ends coach, and Kansas City, Miami, Chargers, all offensive coordinator positions. So Tim, what do you think of Brian with the Giants?
I think if there was a coach that got pretty much loaded up with an empty cupboard, it'd be Brian Dabble. He knows how to win everywhere he goes. It's just the fact is he's had stars everywhere he went too. He had Josh Allen. He's had at Alabama. He's had a defense in Alabama that he knows he's a quarterback whisperer. He's a lot like Dan Mullins was at Mississippi State and University of Florida. But he knows what he's doing. He has an amazing offense, as you saw what Buffalo did last year against just about everybody. It's just if he puts the right people around him, he can make the NFC East a little more competitive. It's not bad now, but I think it's going to be fun to watch in about 4 years. I think that front office needs to give him a little more time, needs to give him a lot more weapons, and I hope that they really give him time.
Okay, Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I mean he was good at Buffalo, although we saw last night. I don't think they're really hurting without him, but although it's preseason too. I think like the other coaches we talked about, he's going to bring a hard-nosed mentality. He's going to bring a little, culture shock in a good way. You're not going to see it improve this year right away, but I think in due time you will. They got to get rid of their quarterback or change their quarterback in some way. They've been talking about it. I think that's the first piece you go to change it. Head coach is not a bad option either right now. You did that. You're just going to have to clean everything up, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, you guys kind of both nailed it. I think it's this job. I think you got to give them, time to get their guys in there, especially with the quarterback situation. Danny Dimes can't stay healthy. The running back can't stay healthy. So unless they want to go out and make some big moves and make some big splashes, definitely this one's going to be a time builder, and let's see where it can go. So the next coach we have on the docket here, got him. Chicago Bears got Matt. Tim, you can pronounce that name. I can't.
Eberflus.
Eberflus. Thank you. So
Eberflus?
Tim, Eberflus. However you pronounce it. What's your take on him? Because he was the defensive coordinator for the Colts. So
Eberflus is a good defense. Is probably a great defensive mind. He's no Dick Duran. He's no Ryan. He's new age defensive coordinator. He made Indy pretty much a top 15 defense. We're in the bottom 10 for the last 9 years. The only knock on him when he was here was the fact that he didn't blitz enough, which means I think I have a fear that he doesn't take the chances. I hope he learns something a bit from under Frank Reich, because Frank Reich's a bit of a gunslinger. He likes to go on 4th and 2. He likes to do things a little unconventional. Maybe he learned something. Maybe he didn't. He's got a great mind. That defense is going to become amazing. I wish Roquan Smith would give it a little more time before asking to leave. I think it's going to be great. I don't remember who their offensive coordinator is, because I think he's going to be the one calling plays. If you get the right offensive coordinator, I think it's going to be okay. I think,
Let's
yeah,
see
like I said, I
here.
don't know the offensive coordinator, but given time, the offensive, if you got the right offensive coordinator, I think it's going to look good. I think that you're going to see in about 3-4 years. I think that's another one you have to give a little more time to. Um, I think
Bill Lazar is
he'll
our
make it a little
offensive
more of a
coordinator.
rating. Okay, I
I
don't know
think
him.
that's right.
But I think
No, that's
he's
not right.
another one you need to give time to. I think much like in New York, I think you need to give him time. Um, he's got more weapons than he does in New York, but it's you have to have the right players to buy into that system, into his system, and hopefully that you can see that in about 3-4 years.
And I knew I was wrong. It's not Bill Lazar. It's Luke Gassy. Gessie. He's the former offensive coordinator from the Packers, I believe, or some offensive mindset over there. I'm trying to find his bio here, but um, yeah. So they do have a new offensive coordinator from Green Bay. So Chris, what do you think?
I think Eberflus is going to be good. I mean, he was good with the Colts. I know not in the head coaching role, but uh, he's going to bring a lot of talent and a lot of coaching skills there. And sometimes change is good.
Yeah, I think the Bears are another team too that you got to give the new coach time. I think they're kind of they're probably better in their rebuild process than probably the Giants and stuff like that. But I think again, you just gotta give them time. They got a young quarterback. They're getting a lot of young guys, so give them time, and we could probably see the Bears do some damage. So now we're moving on to my team. I kind of left them last on purpose. One to be the homer, but two because I'm not liking all the pre-hype stuff going on right now with them, and that is Kevin O'Connell taking over for the Vikings. They pretty much dismantled everything, coaching staff up to the GM. So coming off a Super Bowl win, Chris, what do you think O'Connell could do for the Vikings?
I don't know much about O'Connell, but I mean, Minnesota did change their coaching and management roles this year. Uh, so I think that helps a little bit. I mean, they've been on the verge of becoming a playoff team for a couple years, and they were once. But I think I think they're probably going to do be a little tougher team this year.
Okay. So O'Connell's coaching resume, of course, he was the offensive coordinator last couple of years for the Rams. Before that, 2019, offensive coordinator for the Redskins, the Commanders, sorry. Before that, what the Commanders, he was quarterback coach and passing game coordinator. And then for the San Francisco 49ers, his title was special projects. That's all they say. And then he was a Cleveland Browns quarterback coach in 2015. So Tim, what do you think O'Connell could do for the Vikings?
Well, it's definitely going to make that offense look a lot better. If you go based on the resume of just of the Los Angeles Rams, he's won a Super Bowl as a coordinator. What he did with Matt Stafford, it's Matthew Stafford. I think you're going to see a lot. He's another backup quarterback, the backup quarterback under Tom Brady. So basically you're looking at a Bill Belichick part of the tree again, and you're going to see what he can do. I think he's going to shock a lot of people in Minnesota. I think he's going to be what Minnesota has been, what Minnesota got when they had their last coach. Um, it might bring out the best in Kirk Cousins, or maybe they're going to finally take the bullet to the head and finally start Kellen Mond, because I watched that game last week and I thought Kellen Mond was a superstar. I don't know why they keep thinking Sean Mannion is the backup, but okay. But Kellen Mond, amazing. Maybe Kellen Mond is the future, and maybe Kevin O'Connell will finally see it.
Yeah, the old regime for some reason didn't like Kellen Mond. They gave him a bad rap sheet. So, but yeah, time will tell with Kellen Mond. But O'Connell, the one thing that, kind of upsetting me, and, he's got the offensive mind. I like that. Defense, as long as he gets a couple good guys on defense, to help that, I think we'll be fine. But the hype of just because he won the Super Bowl and, now he's going to bring over the Rams, success, and, it's all going to be the Rams way. That's how they did it. It's like, okay, the Rams were only good 1 year. This is a coach that had a good run with them. Like you said, Tim, Stafford changed him around. He does know Kirk Cousins from the days in Washington, but again, I just think that it's I'm going right now on incomplete because I just want to see what he can do. He's got a good team. I mean, no doubt about that. The defense is going to be different. Yeah, I think the Vikings are in for a show. I think the Viking fans, if everything comes together with that defense, I think we're going to be a force to be reckoned with in that North. So before we move on, of the 5 guys we just named, what teams could make the playoffs? Tim, what do you think of the 5 guys we just named for first-time coaches?
First time. Okay.
Yep.
Wait.
Of the five we just named.
Yep.
I definitely think Neil Hackett in Denver, and I think who did we just say? Kevin O'Connell from Minnesota. I think those two could be playoff. If I remember my predictions right, I have those two going to the playoffs. So yeah, those two.
All right, Chris, how about you? Who do you think in the group there we just named of the 5?
I would have to agree with those two, but you could probably put Minnesota in there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be the homer, but out of the 5 guys we just named, Hackett and O'Connell both I think could definitely, because those teams are on verges last year, you make the right moves. So I think that's it. So of the 9 coaches we named, we'll group them all together. Which team do you think has the shortest leash right now, Chris? Who do you think to be fired first? Is more or less what I'm saying.
I would have to go with McDaniel, probably.
Okay, Tim, how about you? What coach do you think has the shortest leash?
I think if he doesn't win in the next 2-3 years, I think it's going to be Josh McDaniels. I really think it's going to be Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, I think that one's a safe pick too, but I think it might be Allen, because he's been there a few years. He's got the team, I mean, if they can put the pieces around, he knows what it takes to win in New Orleans. So, I'll go with Allen. He's going to have the short leash. So, all right. So, moving on, and want all our fans to remember, if you're watching this on a replay or something, if you got any questions for us, check us or send us an email on morning. What is it? Morning tailgate or C2C morning tailgate at gmail.com, and we'll definitely answer your questions. With that being said, old faces in new places. So I just pulled up a list. I went top to bottom. There's no significant order I went. So we'll just start right at the top. Tyreek Hill gets traded from Kansas City to the Dolphins. Tim, I think that was probably one of the big shockers this offseason, but what do you think that means for Tua and the Dolphins?
I think it puts Tua for another season. if you can't work with Tyreek Hill, I think the Tua experiment is over. I think Tua got gifted an amazing play. If you cannot do anything with Tyreek Hill, you do not deserve to be in this league.
Ooh.
Tyreek Hill is a once in a generation player, and I think if you can't make it, you might as well just give up.
All right, Chris, how about you? Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins.
Tyreek is a great player. I mean, helped the Chiefs win the Super Bowl a couple years ago. He's getting a little older. He probably doesn't have the speed he did back then, but he's still one of the top receivers, and I think he's going to be like that in Miami. But he's kind of opening his mouth a little bit, saying that Mahomes or not Mahomes, but Tua is better than Mahomes, which you kind of think that, but you're not supposed to say it.
Yeah, I don't know about those comments, but yeah, I think Tim definitely nailed it. If you can't, produce with Tyreek Hill, then from what we've seen in Kansas City, now maybe it was Mahomes that made Tyreek Hill, but again, I mean, time will tell. It's kind of like Brady going, to the Bucks. Who made who. So, but again, from what we've seen, if you can't produce with Tyreek Hill, Tua might not be the answer. And they went out and got a semi-insurance policy at quarterback with Teddy Bridgewater. So, some of you guys know that I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan. I think he got shafted here in Minnesota. I think he can do stuff. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback by no means, but I think he can manage to win you some games. So definitely can't wait to see that one. So I grouped the next few guys together because they're in the same position, same team, and that's the Cleveland Browns. They went out and got Watson. We all know his status. Jacob Brissett, Josh Rowland, Josh Dobbs. So, Chris, we know Watson's gone for 11 games, so we can just eliminate him there. But
Yep.
is the quarterback for the Browns on this team, or are they going to shop somewhere else, or what do you think they're going to do?
I think you go out and find one. The only one I can think of is Jimmy G. Garoppolo. I mean,
Okay, yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are on the Jimmy G bandwagon, but with that
but
contract
he's the
and
only
Watson
name I
coming
can
back,
think of.
oh no, and I get that, and but I just don't think they're going to make a move for Jimmy G with that contract and knowing they got to pay Watson next year. So, Tim, I know you have Brissett in the Colts for a little bit there. Is he the guy to step up for the Browns, or what do you think they're going to do?
I think the mindset in Cleveland is I think they're going to go with Jacoby Brissett. You saw what he did in New England. You saw what he did in Indy. The knock on Jacoby Brissett is he can throw the short ball, he can throw the long ball. But if you're looking for intermediate, forget it. He can't throw an intermediate pass to save my grandmother. It's not. It's you're going to be relying on that running anyway. You're going to be because you got you're going to be relying on that running game, and basically you're just going to be you're just going to be the person just handing the ball off a lot.
Okay. Yeah, Brissett's probably my number one right now, but if I'm the Browns, I don't know if I go after Jimmy G just the fact of the contract, but a guy that, if we want to pay somebody a cheap salary for that might have had a couple good years of being taught, maybe call Green Bay and see what they can get for Love and make Love the starter, so. But yeah, I think Tim's right. I think you're going to see a lot of running plays, a lot of short passes until week 12. So we'll see what happens there. The Browns also made a trade with Chris's Dallas Cowboys and got Amari Cooper, so that might play a factor there. So, Tim, what do you think about Amari Cooper joining the Browns there?
I think it works. I think it's a good pickup for Cleveland. I think in the better end of that deal. I think Dallas is going to get the better end of that deal. But I think if you've got the quarterback to throw to him, he's another one. You can't outthrow him. You can't if you had to outthrow him, you were outthrowing your arm. I truthfully think I think if Watson was starting, I think he's going to be amazing. I think you're going to see a lot of good yards. But if Brissett, it's going to be a lot of 10 reception games for 105 yards. You're not catching. He's not going to catch a lot. I think he got kind of put in a bad situation after Watson got 11 games. But I think it's a good pickup for Cleveland. It's just an inopportune season for him.
Yeah, exactly. So I know when this trade was announced, Chris was crying. So Amari Cooper to the Browns, Chris. What's your thoughts?
I think he just got traded because of all of his off-season stuff, but I don't know. I thought I heard a couple weeks ago he didn't play much because of an injury. And I think you're going to see a lot of that with Cleveland. I don't know if it was a good pickup. He is good, but I feel like he's going to miss a lot of games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like Chris said, it was a combination of injuries, offseason stuff that they traded him, but talent wise, yeah, he should help them out definitely. I wish the Browns had a better situation because I think they would have been a fun team to watch this year. So, and then signing with and filling the shoes of Big Ben, we got Mitchell Trubisky. So, Chris, is Trubisky the guy in the step up for the Steelers?
I would say yes. In my opinion, I would say yes, only because he has been veteran status. He's been around the game a little bit. But then there's rumors of Pickett, becoming a starter, and I mean they did it with Roethlisberger back in the day. Him becoming a rookie and starting, but back then it was less common to start a rookie. Now it's more common to do it. So, I mean, those two quarterbacks are kind of battling back and forth. I want to say, yeah, it's a good move, but something's telling me Pickett's going to step in.
Okay. Tim, how about you? Trubisky signing with the Steelers.
I think it's a placeholder move. I think Trubisky's only going to be. I think if he starts, it's only going to be for this year or until Kenny Pickett's ready. It gives veteran leadership, a little bit of veteran leadership, a little membership to Kenny Pickett, a little bit more to that's the other guy that's there. Mason Rudolph. I think it looks it. Yeah, I truthfully think it's going to be it's Trubisky until Pickett's ready. It's good if you're looking for some mentorship. Other than that, I think it's Pickett's job to lose.
Okay. For me, yeah, I think week one Trubisky starts unless Pickett's blowing him away and we're not hearing about it. But I think we're going to get the kind of duel like we had in Miami when Tua was the starter. You have Fitzmagic start, and then Tua came in, vice versa. I'm with Tim. I think it's Trubisky's job until Pickett is ready and shows that he can play. But I think we're going to see a lot of Pickett, couple drives a half or a couple drives a game. I think we're going to see that just see what he can do with the number one. So. Moving on, another couple guys I clumped together with the Colts. They signed Nick Foles and they traded for Matt Ryan. So, Tim, this is your team. What was your thoughts on these two moves, and who do you think they go with?
I like the Matt Ryan deal. I honestly like the Matt Ryan deal. I thought he was a good pickup. I'm not sure if I had thought of that when they first. I thought of Matt Ryan let go with Atlanta time last year. I was hoping for Indy, so it kind of works out in the long run. I think I might have had him going to Pittsburgh instead of me. It's a good deal. Last night in the game, the Detroit game, the preseason game, that the only quarterback room in the NFL right now to have two quarterbacks to start in NFL is an Indy. I don't really like Nick Foles. I thought they weren't giving Sam Ellinger the chance to be the backup and to learn under Matt Ryan. But when you've got two quarterbacks who've been to the Super Bowl and one is one and one has been an MVP, I think Ellinger is only going to do is learn. I think it's a good deal, but I don't think by training camp we're going to have Nick Foles on the team. I think Nick Foles is going to get traded because of the production of Ellinger during this preseason.
Ooh, wow, bold statement there, Tim. So, Chris, how about you? What do you think of Foles signing and the trade to Matt Ryan for the Colts?
I mean, Ryan was good for a little bit. Foles is. I think Foles is better as a backup than he is a starter. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I think in a backup role, he's better in that position. And that's why he did lead Philly to a Super Bowl. But really, that was Nick Foles, that was what Wentz's team he led to, or he helped lead them to a Super Bowl. But he's better in a backup spot.
Okay. Yeah, Nick Foles, I put in, like Tim said or Chris said, I think he's a better backup. I think when you give him the job, he struggles, and I kind of compare that to Teddy Bridgewater. When he's not named the starter, he comes in, he plays lights out. Like Chris said, took him to the Super Bowl. And Matt Ryan's been there.
I also think that with Dalton too.
Yeah,
Better in a backup position than a starter.
yeah. So I think they got a good 1-2 punch there, but Tim's watching his team closely, and I'll take his word for it that we don't see Nick Foles on the sidelines week 1. But Matt Ryan, I think, is going to be the guy there, and I think definitely a good coach or quarterback to learn under. So, sticking with the Colts, they signed cornerback Stephon Gilmore. Tim, I'll let you start. What do you think about this signing?
I think it's a good signing. I think we needed to shore up some of the defensive backfield. I don't think he's played any this season, to be honest. You're looking at a former defensive player of the year. Yeah, we always seem to find those guys after they've done it, past their little bit of prime. And for some reason, it's a Bill Belichick guy, and Bill Belichick tends to let people go at about the time they need to be let go. So he can't hurt the team. Let's just say that. I like it. We needed it to pair him up alongside Kenny Moore III, Pro Bowler last year. It was definitely a need, not a want. We needed it, and I'm glad. And be honest, I'm glad we and it's the veteran. It's back to veteran leadership for a young defensive backfield, and I think it's an amazing. To me, it's an amazing deal.
All right, Chris, how about you? Gilmore going to the Colts.
Yeah, it's definitely a need and not a want. But the thing with Belichick is that he's probably the only coach I can think of, in this, I guess, era of football. You can probably think of it back then too, in the 60s, 70s, where he's not afraid to let people go if they're not being productive. He's the only coach I can think of, but great pickup for the Colts. I think it was well needed, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a huge pickup for the Colts. Like Chris said, I think he nailed it. Belichick's the guy that he's not afraid to take on bad apples and turn them around, and he's not afraid to cut anybody that's not producing for his team, no matter what your name is. So
he could play bad one game and be let go.
Yeah, I think the Colts made a heck of a pickup there. So Christian Kurt, former Cardinal receiver, signs with the Jags. Chris, what do you think on that move?
I think Cardinals made a bad decision. You still don't have Fitzgerald, who's kind of semi-retired. Uh, Hopkins is kind of in and out of the lineup. I think you kind of lost depth at your receiving position, but we're not in the front office, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a good pickup. He's been good with the Cardinals, and I don't know.
All right. Tim, Kurt with the Jags. What do you think on that one?
Like Crispy says, I think it was a bad move on Arizona's part. Again, you've got an aging wide receiver core in Arizona. I think it's also financially bad for Bill. I think you paid for a wide receiver 3 to try to be your wide receiver 2 for a receiver that's has never received over 1,000 yards. I think wide receiver 1 month for a wide receiver. Other than that, for skill, I think skill wise, I think he's a perfect complement in that wide receiver core, because I can't remember who their one is. I think it's Marvin Jones.
Sounds right.
And Trevor Lawrence isn't afraid to throw the football, as you see, as you saw in the last game of the season against Indy, that he knows how to pick apart a defense if he's given time. If he's given time, he can look like a top 10 quarterback. If he's not given time and given a chance to find his receivers, I think Kirk might get his first 1,000 yards receiving this year. I just think financially it was a terrible, terrible deal for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he'll definitely help out the learning curve for Lawrence, but I think Cardinals, missed out. I think they should have definitely kept him. So, the contract or whatever might have been bad for the Jags, but I think the talent wise is going to get there. So let's move to Russell Wilson getting traded from Seattle to the Broncos. Chris, what do you think Wilson means to that team there?
Well, I mean, you don't have Lockett,
Lock,
yeah, somewhere. So that's good. But Russell Wilson hasn't done too much since his Super Bowl run. I won an MVP. I don't think so. It's an interesting pickup. I understand why, but I don't know. It's kind of everybody thought he would go to Denver. Everybody thought Aaron Rodgers was going to go to Denver, but it's going to be an interesting season with Wilson there.
Yeah. All right, Tim. Wilson in the Broncos uniform.
I think Locke here is the key. Truthfully, any upgrade from Drew Lock is already an amazing upgrade. I think what this does in Denver, it puts it in the win right now type of move. I think to make a Super Bowl run in the next 3 years. I think their window is 3 years. With Russell Wilson, it gives them a 3-year window. Anything outside of that is basically a pretty futile. I think Drew was terrible. Let's just say what it was. But Wilson is definitely, he's going to teach everybody. Hopefully he'll do exactly what they pay him for, what they brought him in for. If they don't see the AFC Championship game within the next 3 seasons, I think it'll come down that the Russell Wilson trade was a failure.
Ooh. No, I definitely it was a win now mode. I mean, just like the Rams pulled off last year's big trade, Wilson. That's what this was. He's got some decent receivers, some decent weapons there. But yeah, Tim, I'm with you. 3 years, maybe four, depends on how the first 3 years goes. Then we'll consider that a failure. But upgrade from Locke, I mean, definitely an A plus. So Kansas City tries to fill the void of Hill, and they go out and sign Juju Smith-Schuster. So Tim, what do you think that move means to them?
Means Kansas City gets another weapon, because that's what Kansas City does. And it seems like no matter how close Kansas City gets to the salary cap, they find a way to get a player that will come under the cap. I think they're trying the Denver move, except they've got longevity on the Mahomes deal, and I think with Juju Smith-Schuster, I think that lengthens Holmes' window a little more. It gives him somebody who's a good position receiver, somebody who's not afraid to do things that needs to be done, as you saw what was in Pittsburgh. I think truthfully he's going to be the Terrell Owens without the attitude, without as much of an attitude. He's going to be the Terrell Owens type Mahomes. As long as the attitude doesn't show up, I think Schuster is a darn good wide receiver, and he's what, been in leagues 5 years, 6 years. He's just hitting his prime. Yeah. And you get him to go with a quarterback who's just hitting his prime too. Yeah, it's going to be scary in Kansas City.
All right, Chris, what do you think, Schuster in KC?
Like Tim said, Kansas City's bulking up their offense again, not their defense, which a lot of people want that to happen. Juju was good in Pittsburgh. He had a little attitude issues, I remember. Not as bad as T.O. did, but he's going to help Kansas City's offense and, another playoff season.
Yeah, I mean, they're turning it into the hated Yankees in baseball. All they do is retool what they need, and it gets them through. But Schuster and Mahomes, that is going to be a scary combination, like Tim said. Breaking news, if anybody cares, rumor has it from Adam Scheffler, Tom Brady's going to return to the Bucs here shortly. So,
I think he was doing. I heard rumors. That show, Masked Singer.
Yeah, I heard that too. I don't know. I can't see Tom doing that show. So, moving on, Devontae Adams gets traded, which I think was a shocker to me. I don't know about you guys, but from the Packers to the Raiders. So, Chris, what do you think that's going to do for the Raiders?
Yeah, Adams is real. You're talking about Adams, right?
Yeah, Adams. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Carr and Adams played together in college. I don't know if they're going to have that same, strategy, gameplay, chemistry. But, I mean, it's worth a shot. Raiders could fire Adams if it doesn't work out. But I would like to see how it goes.
Yep. Tim, how about you? Adams going to the Raiders.
Definitely a shock to me. As I think most of the NFL, I think it even shocked the Las Vegas Raiders. To be honest, they used to say familiarity breeds success. You already got it. Again, this is the whole Josh McDaniel thing. You were gifted a playoff team, and you're bringing your all-pro wide receiver to a team that was in the playoffs, and now you bring an all-pro wide receiver in probably the toughest division in the NFL. It's definitely, again, I think we've said plenty of times, not only on this show but on other shows. I think we've said that the AFC West is going to be fun to watch, and with Devontae Adams going to Las Vegas, I think it's just up the ante on on the excitement. And I think for Vegas, I think it's going to make. I think you're going to see Derek Carr move up in the ability that he's got. Again, he's been familiar with the receivers he's had since he started. Now he's going to have bring in a one that he's had familiarity with since his college days. It's going to look sick.
Yeah, I think, outside of Lawrence, I think probably Carr is probably going to benefit the most from the acquisition they made at the receiver spot. So, yeah, they're definitely going to be a team. This might be a team, too, like Tim said. You don't win in a couple years, McDaniels might be out. So, you got gifted a playoff team. You brought in some weapons. Now it's like, okay, Super Bowl right there. So, we'll see what that division. Like Tim said, we've all said it. This division is going to be a just a massive fun division to watch. So, speaking of the Raiders, their former linebacker who was with the Bears, Khalil Mack, joins the Super Bowl champ Rams. Tim, do we think that's going to make a factor with the guys they lost?
Well, you're replacing Von Miller. At this point, that's all you're replacing. You're looking at this as going, you lose Von Miller to Buffalo, who's probably further on your list. You lose Butler, but to make a move like another All-Pro like Khalil Mack, I think it was huge. I think it's a good pickup for the Rams. You just retool that defense again. It's a nice fit to begin with. I think Khalil Mack is still working on his prime. He's probably on the best prime, but he still can bring a lot to the table. I think it's a great thing. Khalil, I think great.
All right, Chris. Khalil Mack to the Rams. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of Bears fans were probably surprised Khalil Mack went to LA. I mean, you are replacing Miller, which is a good player there too, but I don't think it really changed much.
Yeah, I mean, right now you're just replacing Mack with Miller or Miller with Mack, and Mack was on not Mack. Miller was on his declining time. We all thought with the Broncos, and he goes there and helps them win the Super Bowl. Mack with the Bears didn't seem like the old Mack. Maybe going back to LA, going to the Rams might feel that fire that he had when he was with the Raiders. So, but speaking of Miller, like we said, he goes to the Bills. Tim, does that do anything for you or Bills Nation, or what do you think?
I think the Bills Nation were really happy. I think, like you said, he was on a decline. I think everybody thought he was on a decline when he got traded from Denver. I think he may have wanted out of Denver because he probably wanted to win a Super Bowl again. Can't argue with the thought. I think Buffalo again. I think he went to Buffalo maybe to win another Super Bowl. Because they needed pieces in Buffalo for the defense. My money would have been he would have been better off going to Kansas City because they needed weapons in the defensive side of the ball in Kansas City. But I think for Buffalo, Buffalo really loves having Von Miller there. I think he really it's the veteran leadership. It's the amount of knowledge he can bring to the young linebackers in Buffalo. I think it's a good deal all around for Vaughn. I think it's a good deal for Buffalo. I think he's gone in the next 2-3 years. And I think he thinks that the Buffalo Bills are going to give him a Super Bowl. And I'm not too hard pressed to think that they won't. So I think it's a good deal for both of them.
Okay. Chris, how about you? Miller going to the Buffalo.
I mean, I'm glad for him, but I don't think it's going to help the Bills much. I feel like they're more of an offensive team than they are defensive. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to bolster your defense. I just don't know how many. What's his stats going to be? That's just the question.
Yeah, I think Tim again. Tim's on the ball today. I think Kansas City would have been a better choice for him. But Buffalo's there. He's got the leadership ability. He can lead that defense. He could have led it in Kansas City too, but I think the move to Buffalo will work out. The fans right now like it. So we want to welcome in Jason Barber to the chat there. Good morning, bud. Jason Barber, JMac as we know him. He is the voice of this upcoming season for the Oregon Cougars football team, the women's professional football league team, which you can see here live stream when their games are going. So check those guys out. Um, Moving on, we got a few more here. Let's get to the big ones. I got some minor ones here, but we'll get to some big ones. Carson Wentz traded from the Colts to the Commanders. Tim, I know this was a guy you watched last year. What do you think?
I couldn't be more happy for Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz succeeds, we get a second round pick. So sorry, Crispy, but I'm going to be a Commanders fan this year. I'm hoping that Carson Wentz looks like an absolute god. I think it's going to be amazing. I am going to cry secretly inside when he beats the Cowboys. I'm going to wholeheartedly, completely I hope he wins comeback player of the year. He goes all the way to the NFC Championship game. I think it's a terrible move for the Redskins or for the Commanders or whatever they want to be called this week. I think it's a great move. I think it's an absolute brilliant move for the Indianapolis Colts. That being said, if he puts up the numbers like he did last year for Indy, he only threw 4 interceptions. I'm scared for the East. But he's got weapons. He honestly has better weapons than he did here in Indy, except for I know we've somebody say, but you got Jonathan Taylor. You're right. Except for Jonathan Taylor, I think we had an old washed up wide receiver. We got wide receivers that can't stay healthy, and Pittman not playing up to his ability. I remember J-Mac. We don't need to remember the team. It's like forget that either. But honestly, if he puts up the numbers, I think I'll be impressed. I truthfully think he's getting crushed in the AFC East and the NFC East. I think it's going to be an absolute slaughter. I think I leave it all to you, Crispy, because this is your wheelhouse. This is the NFC East.
All right, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, Dak and Wentz came out of the draft the same year, and everybody felt like it was a competition. Who's the better quarterback, Dak or Wentz? Wentz has been struggling since, or not Dak. Wentz has been struggling, and I think he's going to continue to struggle.
Yeah, the sad thing is when this guy's healthy, I mean, he's put up MVP numbers. I mean, the Super Bowl run that Philly had, if he didn't get hurt, maybe they don't make the Super Bowl, but I mean, he was putting up MVP numbers and stays healthy. I mean, it could be a scary thought, but I'm banking on him. I hate to say that he's going to get injured, but you can't bank on him to play 16 plus games. I mean, you're looking at half the season to 10 games possibly. So, it'll be something to watch out for. Another big trade, as we all know, Baker Mayfield goes from the Browns to the Panthers. Chris, what do we think with that move? And Tim, if Sarge, you're on, please comment on this one. Mayfield to the Panthers. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. He did okay in Cleveland. He had that 1 year run when he was really good. I felt like I gave him the first win, but neither. It's going to be interesting how it goes. One of their quarterbacks just went down with an injury, and now you're probably going to move up PJ Walker to fill that position. But I think Mayfield's going to do okay. I don't know if he's going to lead them to a playoff this year, though.
Okay. Tim, how about you?
My question is Christian McCaffrey going to be healthy?
Yep.
They hope.
Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy all season long, and you can hand the ball off like he did in Cleveland, I think you have a shot at him of them maybe sniffing the playoffs. I think Mayfield is a quarterback who likes to hand the ball off because I don't trust him throwing the football. I think it may be good for the Carolina Panthers. Sorry, Sarge, but that's just the way I feel. I think he needs the weapons. I don't know much about Carolina outside of Jeffrey and everybody else that I don't know. I think it'd be okay. I feel like I want to cry when I say that. It's just I don't know. Maybe Carolina trades for Nick Foles.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't like Mayfield. I just never liked Mayfield. As much as I wanted him on the team, I think it was just for a 1-year placeholder, just to get a quarterback next year, or until Ellinger ready. I just don't like Mayfield. I don't. If I who could hand the ball off all the time, I would put a water boy out there. I just don't like Mayfield. It might have been a good deal for the Panthers. I just don't like Mayfield.
Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I had the Panthers creeping up there to make the playoffs with Mayfield there, and it might work out. The big question, like Tim said, McCaffrey healthy, because if he's healthy, you got one of the best backs in the league just to hand the ball off to, throw those short passes to. We'll wait and see. And J Mac asks, and Tim's already answered his side. Would you rather have Wentz or Mayfield? I'll answer. If Wentz is healthy, a healthy Wentz, I take in Wentz all day long.
Yeah.
Currently, with the way the careers are going, I'm with Tim. I take neither. So, Chris, what do you think?
I mean, if you had to pick, probably Wentz, but overall, I'd probably pick neither.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll move on. Got a couple more here. The Saints signed Andy Dalton and Javar Landry, wide receiver, to the Saints. So, Chris, do you think that's going to impact the Saints any better with Dalton or Landry?
Maybe I think so. I mean, like I said earlier, Dalton, he's more of a backup situational quarterback. I think he'll help out, but Landry's been pretty good. He was good at Miami and I think Cleveland. So I think he'll help. Yeah.
All right. Tim, before we get to the comment there from Jason towards you, Dalton and Landry and with the Saints, what do you think?
I think Dalton's at the point where he's a lot like Nick Foles. I think he's going to be a better backup. I think maybe third stringer. I think it's if he needs to be put in, we saw what he did in Dallas. It didn't look pretty. I think Landry goes home. I think he's gone home. I think Landry wanted to play in his home state before he retires. They're right now. I think they're bringing both of them in just to play to be veteran leadership again to teach. I think it's got to remember New Orleans drafted a lot out of Ohio State, I believe. I honestly think it's good for them because it gives them players back up in Dalton, but it also gives them a good receiver, a good two, I think, with Landry.
Yeah, I think Dalton's definitely going to be a good backup there to help out those quarterbacks. Landry, yeah, number 2, solid number 2. I'd take him, you know, at 2 or 3. I don't think he's number 1 anymore. But with that being said, J-Mac, Tim, or J-Mac wants you to remember, Tim, that the Panthers are paying Cam's replacement at quarterback. So kind of like tied to
and the
Cam
New
Newton.
York Mets are still and New York and the New York Mets are still playing Bobby Bonilla.
Yep, exactly. So and then J Mac also tried to Devon Landry has always been around the ball. He's a solid receiver and always has been. Dalton can win you games, both good moves. So J Mac thinks that was a great move. So yeah, I think it'll help out. Chris, I'm going to turn to you.
Yes.
They signed former Vikings, so this might be your Super Bowl run. Anthony Barr.
Yeah.
So what do you think there?
I always saw, Barr a couple times when, Cowboys would face the Vikings, but he's really good, and I think he'll help out that defense. It's just going to – I was hoping he would be out there last night to give him some reps, but I guess they felt like he was going to be automatic. I know he was going to be a roster spot no matter what, but trying to figure out where to place him, I thought you'd give him some reps.
Well, I can tell you, Aaron Rodgers is probably happy he's out of here because he keeps running into Anthony Barr and he always gets hurt. So,
well, Cowboys face the Vikings or Cowboys face the Packers this year. So,
all right. So, Tim, what do you think? Anthony Barr going to the Cowboys?
Well, I think that's a great move for Mike McCarthy because I think Mike McCarthy has seen him enough in Green Bay against Green Bay. So I think he's looking at it going, I'd rather have him on the team than instead of facing him. I think, but he's a really good linebacker. I've always wanted to have a shot at having him in Indy, but we've never had the time, or we've got the wrong defense, the defensive scheme. He's a good serviceable linebacker. I think that was a good pickup for Dallas. I really do.
Yeah, I do think that was a good pickup for Dallas. Getting him. He was running. It seemed like the same old Anthony Barr kind of hurt here and there with the Vikings, but I think Dallas picked up got a good pickup. Maybe he just wanted out of Minnesota here. So, Chris, J-Mac is saying the Cowboys still have nobody to cover opposing receivers. So how exactly does that help? If I remember right, I think Diggs did a pretty decent job of covering receivers. So,
yeah,
I could be wrong. So, moving on to the Packers, J-Mac's team, they signed Sammy Watkins from Buffalo, I think it was. So, Chris, what do you think that's going to do?
Hopefully it helps out Rodgers and the receivers. But I don't know. It's probably not going to change that much.
Yeah, we see J-Max always chiming in and saying who? Sammy Sosa. There we go. So, Tim, what do you think?
If this was 5 years ago, I wanted Sammy Watkins. It's Aaron Rodgers. Still, Aaron Rodgers can make any like a superstar, much like Brett Favre did before. I think he gives you depth. I think Watkins gives you depth. You're not going to see Sammy Watkins play special teams. You're not going to see him in the slot. I truthfully think. I think if you're trying to use Sammy Watkins to replace Devontae Adams, you failed miserably. If you're trying to replace him, at least try to get Tyreek Hill, not Devontae Adams. I think it's not that great of a deal to me. I really isn't. It's not the Watkins from his days in Buffalo. It's not. It's not the same Watkins. I think this is a guy on the last leg of his career, hopefully trying to win a Super Bowl. That.
Yeah, Tim, I feel you there. I think this is. I don't want to say it was a bad move. I think it was a veteran move. You know, you get the veteran leadership in there along with Cobb. But we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe Rodgers can make something out of what he has. J Max chiming in, just like at the end of Farr's career, we will rely more on our running game with Jones and Dillon. Yeah, you're probably right. Until they find that number one guy, and I think that's what's going to hit the Packers early is not having that number one guy. Kyle Rudolph, signs with the Bucks. Tim, do you think that's going to impact the Brady and the Bucks there that much, or what do you think?
It's. I like Kyle Rudolph. I always like Kyle Rudolph. Every time I get a chance to draft Kyle Rudolph, I'll draft Kyle Rudolph. You're replacing Gronkowski. You're replacing a Hall of Fame tight end. At this point, it's Tom Brady throwing you the football. And, I think Kyle Rudolph is going to benefit from going from Kirk Cousins to Tom Brady. I'm sorry, but that's, to me, is an upgrade of epic proportions. I think you're going to look at Kyle Rudolph's numbers going up. I think it's a brilliant move for Kyle Rudolph.
Okay. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, it's going to be a great move. You needed somebody to replace Gronk in Tampa Bay, and why not be him? It's just going to determine how well, him and Brady can work together.
Yeah, it'll give Brady that little short cushion there with Kyle Rudolph because he can stretch the field, but he's good at that short game, the goal line game. So I think it'll be a good pickup. I mean, yeah, you're replacing a future Hall of Famer in Gronk, but I think just that short game will help Rudolph and Tom Brady. J-Max chiming in. There's some optimism going on in Tampa Bay right now. At least, yeah, there's a lot of things going on, and Tom Brady's one of them. So we'll definitely see what happens there. So last two, going to kind of clump together because I don't think neither one's going to start week one, but they're big names. Marcus Mariota signs with Atlanta, and of course Seattle trades for Drew Lock. So Tim, what do you think's going on in Atlanta and Seattle with these quarterback moves?
I don't think that Pete Carroll's going to start Drew Lock. If he does, expect him to retire and head himself to Arkham Asylum. I think that'd be a terrible, stupid move. You want to think about him being a Hall of Fame coach. Think about it. I didn't say he was, but you go ahead and make that type of blunder. It'd be a bad idea. I truly Marcus Mariota is going to start over Desmond Ridder. I think this is going to be the Pittsburgh situation again. If Trubisky doesn't succeed, if Mariota doesn't succeed, you're going to look at the dirty South calling for Desmond Ridder to start. If that doesn't happen, if Mariota does what they think that Mariota is going to do, it's Ritter's job, and it's Ritter's job before halfway through the season. I think Mariota's a terrible quarterback. He was terrible in Tennessee. He was terrible in Las Vegas. If it had the name Mariota on it, it was trash. I honestly think that they just use Mariota as a placeholder. Again, Trubisky. You could swap names at this point. It's Ritter's job to lose. I think Mariota's just there to teach, and I hope he's not going to teach him the bad things.
All right, Chris, how about you? Mariota and Locke. What's your thoughts on both of those guys?
No, I don't have to agree with Tim. I mean, Seattle, Geno Smith's going to be your quarterback, I feel like. It's not going to be, Locke. I mean, Locke's going to be a backup. As far as who's going to start in Atlanta, I think it's going to be Mariota. How long? I don't know. But with the Seattle situation, normally, or any situation, normally your third or last preseason game, you're going to have your starters out there. And I think that's going to be a game, that's going to tell a lot who's going to be your starting quarterback and all the other positions. So we'll just have to wait till this weekend to see who's going to start.
Yeah, I think definitely Seattle's in who's a coin flip on who's going to start. I mean, if you had a 3-4 sided coin, I mean, it could be anybody over there. I think Atlanta. Tim's right. I think Mariota may start week 1, but I don't think it's going to last long. I think Ritter's going to be right there, wanting to get in there, and I think he's going to get in there. So our final comment from Jason. It's funny how Joey Harrington and Marcus Mariota are the next big thing from Oregon, but yet Herbert's going to be the way better than both of them. That is totally right.
True,
And
yeah.
that is totally right. Harrington, I mean, I think he got raw into the deal being in Detroit. I mean, I think that really floundered him. Mariota had some decent years in Tennessee, but yeah, they came out as the next big thing, but both of them failed. So yeah, definitely. He threw out one more here. Picking between Smith and Luck is like picking between dying by a fire squad or drowning. Yeah, that that is something. But we'll see. Week 1's around the corner. What is it? The first week of September, guys? I think
September 8th.
September 8th. That's the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the real start, the first official week starts on the 11th.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we definitely can't forget those. Next week we'll be back definitely with some more topics. We'll talk about them off the air, guys. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Tim, your final thoughts for tonight?
I didn't need to hear that Tom Brady's coming back. I was kind of hoping he'd pull an Andrew Luck and retire during the game. Funny thing is, the next preseason game that Tampa Bay has is at Indy. So I really didn't need to hear any of that stuff. It's going to be a nightmare for a little bit. But other than that, it's nice being on here. Stay tuned to the station because the station's got some great and amazing shows. If I recommend anything, follow Four Bros because it's the best show that I watch. I recommend watching it, and every other show that these two guys above me have because they are amazing.
All right. Well, thanks for the shout out, Tim. And you're more than happy to jump on Four Bros if you're up at that time. I know you're halfway across the world. So, Chris, how about you? What's going on with C2C?
It's morning. Thought? It's morning for me here.
All right. No, between the ropes tonight or this evening, we're going to have a special guest who was on Raw a couple weeks ago facing Omos in a 2-on-1 match. So we're going to have him, and that'll be around 4 Central, 2 Pacific, and
Yeah, exactly. Keep going, Chris.
So that's all I got.
All right, yeah, like everybody said, definitely keep tuning in. We got that special interview that is 4 Central. Yep, we're talking with Spencer Spear. He, like Chris said, was on Raw a couple weeks ago. Fought the gigantic Omos, so we're definitely gonna enjoy talking to him. Tuesday night, or on deck on Tuesday, we'll be back. We might have something else Tuesday night. We're in the works. Tuesday Night Mania moved over to Wednesday, so we'll be rebranding that. We got the Bo and Joe show. We got Sports Minute, OVW. We got a ton of programming coming on. And like I said earlier, we are the home of women's professional football, Oregon Cougar team. J Max, the voice of that. So we're planning on doing a weekly show with them. There's a lot of things in the works. And like Tim said, check out Four Bros late night. You know, the motto on that show is it's dark dirty, gets a little bit dirty. So, you know, we get Chris to answer a couple questions that he never has answered yet, but we can't repeat them on this air. But check that out on our replay. So with that being said, join us next week for week 3 of Morning Tailgate. Until then, have a good week, guys.